Hey everyone, Shun here bringing you a top 10 for the anime of winter 2017. Do keep in mind though that this was compiled from my personal opinion, so you don't have to agree with this. In any case, let's get started. At number 10, we have Irada Merocho. This series is set in Merocho, or the Labyrinth Town, the town of fortune-telling. A fortune-telling shop called Natsumeya is a place where girls who turn 15 go to become aspiring fortune-tellers, or Irada. The story is introduced of a girl named Chiya who was raised in the mountains. She, like many other aspiring girls, go to Merocho to become apprentice fortune-tellers. After causing some trouble, she quickly encounters and befriends 3 girls, Kon, Kome, and Nono. A very light slice of life series with cute girls doing fun things while learning to become fortune tellers. Just a series to relax over and not be taken too seriously. Reminds me a bit of Gojimon wa Usagi desu ka, minus 1 girl. So yeah, if you like that kind of thing, this will probably be enjoyable to you. Number 9, Little Witch Academia was a short movie special by the studio Trigger as a sort of one-shot that was released in 2013. A second 1-hour movie was released later in 2015, a little while after. Now in 2017, a full TV series is being aired that will span around 25 episodes. For those who haven't watched the first 2 specials, the story centers around Atsuko Kagari, who is an ordinary girl from Japan and enrolls in Luna Nova Academy, an academy for witches. She was inspired to become a witch after experiencing a magic show by the witch Shiny Chariot. From there, we follow the everyday adventures of Atsuko and her fellow witches. Another lighthearted anime series with a unique and exciting setting, filled with fantasy, adventure, and magic. Another great series to consider watching for those looking for something a little different than your typical slice of life series. Number 8, Gabrielle Dropout is a supernatural slice of life comedy in which heaven and hell closely interact with the people on Earth. Angels are sent down to Earth to learn more about humans for the purpose of becoming true angels. Demons from hell also do the same, but for reasons not explained yet. But most likely just to gain more knowledge in order to become more evil. The story centers around the top honor student of all the angels in her class, Tema Gabrielle Waito, first name being Gabrielle, or Gabu, who after graduating went down to Earth to learn more about humans. However, after a short series of events, she became addicted to video games and has become lazy and a hikikomori, but still goes to school sometimes. At the same time, her kind and peace-loving nature quickly changed into what is now a shadow of her former self, of what she claims to be her true self that was being held back by being in heaven all this time. Along with Gabrielle, she is usually accompanied by a fellow angel Raphael and oddly enough 2 demons, Satania and Vignette. Another relaxing comedy series that is just there for being fun to watch. And number 7 is Cruisin Ohonchi, or Scum's Wish. If you saw my What is Wrong with Cruisin Ohonchi video, then you probably already know what it's about and why it is at number 7. For those who haven't, it is by a high school freshman named Hanabi Yasuraoka, who has been in love with her older childhood friend, now her homeroom teacher Narumi Kanai. However, she discovers that he is in love with the new music teacher Akane Minegawa and knows there is no room for a romantic interest in her. At the same time, she meets a boy named Mugi Awaya, who like her is in love with a teacher who happens to be a Kane that he has known when he was younger. From this, they made an agreement to be in a superficial relationship to replace each other's true love interest and fill the emptiness inside them while not falling in love with each other. Other characters such as Mugi's childhood friend and Hanabi's classmate friend also get involved, and a tangled web of conflicting relationships begin to form. As I said in my last video, it's not for everybody. It has great story and stunning visuals and music, but the premise may leave a lot to be desired. Number 6, Demi-chan wa Katari Tai, or Interviews with Monster Girls. I know what you're saying at this point. Why is there so much slice of life school comedy genres? Well, that's just kind of the series that are predominantly out this season, so apologies if the variety is somewhat limited. Anyways, Demi-chan wa Katari Tai, a story that takes place in a world where Ajin, or demi-humans, or otherwise known as Demi, are living amongst the humans and slowly becoming accepted into society. Tetsuo Takahashi is a biology teacher at Shibasaki High School who is interested in demi-humans, but didn't have a chance of meeting one during his entire career until just recently. He ends up teaching 3 demi-chans, a vampire, a Dulohan, and a Yuki-onna, or snow woman. In addition, another demi, a succubus named Sakie Sato, is employed to teach math at the school, who also joins in on their activities. Another school fantasy comedy series. You must be so annoyed of hearing me say that. That is fun and calming to watch. And number 5 is Fugu, a romantic drama coupled with the passion for music that follows the story of Yu Haruna, who just moved into Tokyo with his siblings and transfers to a school there. He's a person who usually keeps to himself but is an avid user of Twitter. One day, while buying dinner for his family, he accidentally bumps into a girl named Fuka Akitsuki while trying to take a photo of something. Mistakenly believing that he was trying to take a picture of her panties, she smashes his phone and leaves. They later encounter each other again when he transfers into the same class as her, in which they soon start a friendly relationship. At the same time, popular idol Koyuki Hinashi continues to attract the public with her music, even that of Fuka Akitsuki, who is a huge fan. It turns out Koyuki is actually Yu's childhood friend whom were separated when they were young. After years of not seeing each other, they contact each other on Twitter and catch up. And from there, things start to get complicated. I was really moved by this drama series as it was very emotional and captivating. Struggles were emphasized in each character, and I felt a sense of sympathy was conveyed towards its intended viewers. The songs were great as well, that included pop, rock, and sentimental music. Would even buy the albums honestly. Definitely something to consider watching if you've liked the past few series covered so far. I'm not sure if this is spoilers, but the anime may have an original ending than its source material, so be ready to get conflicted. Number 4, Masamune Kuno Revenge is about a boy named Masamune Makabe, who is a narcissistic boy who used to be a chubby kid that would get bullied and made fun of. Since then, he trained hard to becoming the fit and handsome boy he is in the present day. He was dedicated to bettering himself after being cruelly rejected by a rich girl named Aki Adagaki and breaking his heart. He has become obsessed with exacting revenge on her for what she did by making her fall in love with him, now that he is unrecognizable from his younger self, so that he can brutally break her heart as she did his. Along with those two, they are accompanied by a group of friends that seem more like acquaintances that get involved in their wild affair. Like Fuku, I heard there was a chance as well that this might get an original ending, but a little less of a chance though. And number 3, Yojo Senki, Saga of Tanya the Evil, is about a little girl named Tanya Dagorochov, who is put on the front lines in what appears to be an event similar to that of World War I Germany, except in this world, magic exists. A high-ranking officer in the Empire, she aims to climb the ranks with the use of her knowledge in efficiency and tactics. Little do people know that in actuality, Tanya was an elite Japanese salaryman who was killed by a Japanese worker after ending his career as a form of revenge. A being who claims to be God condemns him for not believing in God and sentences him to being reincarnated in an alternate world Europe. Tanya must now live her life in this new world and die a natural death, or else she will not be reincarnated again and her soul will be sent to hell. To do this, she aims to climb the military ranks on the top of the echelon to ensure a secure, comfy life. An anime series with a very interesting premise that leaves many questions to be answered. Although I would say the premise somewhat falls through midway, but it's still consistently enjoyable to watch with lots of action, violence, and bloodshed. At number 2, Kobayashi Santino Maid the Dragon, or Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. A normal office worker named Kobayashi lives alone in an apartment until one day, she comes across an injured dragon after getting drunk in the mountains. Then one day, a dragon named Toaru appeared in front of her doorstep. It turns out during their first encounter, Kobayashi helped to save her while she was wandering through the mountains. Feeling indebted, Toaru repays her by living with her as a maid. With her stay comes other dragons who have also come to the human world. A very fantasy fun slice of life comedy that is, in my opinion, the most entertaining of the genre for this season, especially since it's anime by KyoAni. It's just gonna be good no matter what. Finally, maybe, at number 1 is none other than Kona Subaru 2, or Kona Subarashi Sekai ni Shukufuku 2, is the sequel to the first season of Konosuba, obviously. Not really much to say except that it is a direct continuation of the adventures, or rather misadventures, of Kazuma, Aqua, Darkness, and of course, Megumin. If you haven't watched the first season yet, I would highly recommend you watch it, as it is just tremendously fun to watch, with very fresh and exciting comedy. And season 2 doesn't disappoint either. In fact, I would say it is even more funnier, which I think is really rare since comedic sequels aren't usually as good as the first season from my experience. Definitely a must watch. Unless you hate fun and shenanigans, then well, I don't think you will like most of the series in this video. Lastly, for real this time, this was somewhat part of the list, but since it was not a series, I wasn't sure if it was appropriate to put it in, but I'm going to anyways, as an alternative number 1, or at least the equivalent, which is
Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale,
which premiered on February 18th in Japan, but should be released internationally around this time, but only for a couple of days, so if you want to watch it, you should do it fast. If not, then at least for those of you who live in the United States, you have another chance to watch it again on April 22nd in select theaters. Going back to Ordinal Scale, in the year 2026, after the events of Sword Art Online 2, a new type of technology is introduced called the Augma, which makes use of augmented reality, or AR for short, which is different than VR, in that it allows the user to be put in the game while still conscious. With AR came the game Ordinal Scale, in which players will fight mobs using their own bodies while they are outside in the city through holograms that only people wearing the Augma can interact with. Kinda reminds me of Pokemon Go. Once again, Kirito is back with Asuna and friends, as they start to get into the game, with Kirito taking a lesser interest at first. As the game gets more popular, malicious activities targeting certain players begin to appear, and it is up to our main hero and heroines to stop this new enemy. As someone who has watched Ordinal Scale, I don't want to go too much into detail as I might actually make a separate video for this particular film, but there is no doubt that this is the talk of the season in regards to anime. An overall entertaining and thrilling experience, bringing you what you would expect from Sword Art Online, but with even better quality in visuals, music, and story, though the last part may be debatable. And so this concludes my top 10 anime for the season of Winter 2017. I hope you found this video helpful in deciding what you want to watch if you haven't started already. Feel free to leave a comment on what you think of this list, or what you would have preferred to have made it in. If you like what I'm doing, feel free to subscribe, and if you have already, then glad to have you here again. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.